Hi, on behalf of Beat Latino and ChicagoMusic.org, I'm Catalina Maria Johnson, and I'm here with Rebeca Vallejo, all the way from Germany, I believe. Rebeca, you're in Germany right now, right?
Well, actually, we are in Belgium.
In
We
Belgium.
are next in the next phase of our tour. We started in Germany, as you were correct, and then we moved into the Flanders territory of Belgium.
And Rebecca is from Madrid, but based in New York. And her music is, I mean, I would have called it sort of a flamencoized jazz of sorts, jazz, bluesy jazz. It's been described as a sangria, which is a wine concoction, red wine concoction, usually with lots of fruits and cinnamon and flavors. So, Rebecca, tell us a little bit more about your music. And I understand you also grew up in the bosom of a flamenco or a musical family, and that your grandfather was a singer. So, tell us a little bit more about all that, how you came to be a musician, and the kind of music that you create.
Well, becoming a vocalist, it was almost a non-choice, but something that just needed to happen. In spite of coming from many generations of singers in my family, starting from my grandfather and all his ancestors, and my grandmother as well, was what they call in Spain saetera, which are the people that sing a cappella in the processions during Easter. It's kind of like a Spanish
Yes.
gospel type of thing. And everybody in my family was trying to convince me for many, many years not to fall into this profession. But
Not to
as
fall into it.
no, everybody from singers from many generations, they were constantly, don't do it, don't, it's such a, harsh life. And, but as I said, like, it's not even a choice, it's a call. And when you have, such call, you need to follow. It's part of your life mission and statement. And I began singing since I was very little. The story tells that when I was in kindergarten, I I had a really hard time sleeping siesta. When I was a kid, I was very hyperactive, and what I did I was to sing on top of the bed because I thought when if I don't sleep, then nobody else does, and but I will just sing for them, for everybody, and I actually sang for any occasion that I possibly could. My grandmother would take me to the market, the street market, and they will ask me, "Oh, little Rebecca, what are you going to sing for us today?" And I will sing things, and they will give my grandmother free food, which I think it was a deal that worked for everybody.
So your whole family was based in Madrid, then a Madrid family?
Yes, everybody was based in. I'm the only crazy one that has been traveling the world and
Wow.
and living in other countries. Everybody is there, and yeah, and I grew up in the very very outskirts of Madrid, a very humble neighborhood.
Wow, wow. And so, Rebecca, then at some point, did you study music? I know that at some point you've come to New York and you've created, your own band and participated in supporting a collective of Spanish musicians in New York, which I didn't realize existed. So then tell us a little bit about the New York part of it all.
Well, I coming from a family again of vocalists, there is always that old wives' tale of like, no, you don't need to study music. You're a singer. You don't need to read notes. And so it took me a long time
Mm,
to finally, get my musicianship together
mm, mm.
and go to school. But I came to the United States to study jazz and to learn jazz. And at some point in that journey, I decided to enroll the City College music program. They have a really wonderful jazz program that was founded by Sheila Jordan and Ron Carter. So I was so lucky to study under Sheila Jordan on her very last years of teaching there, and it was a wonderful experience. If you want to, I believe that if you want to learn a genre of music, you need to be in the place where that genre of music generates and breathes. And, and yeah, of course, if I wanted to be a jazz singer, there was no other place to be but New York City.
Right, right. It does. It breathes and lives, and it feels like jazz. You walk down the streets and you hear jazz.
Exactly, everything. I mean, jazz is not just the music; it's the experience of, and the experience and the lifestyle. And I mean, this, so many musical things are non-musical, but they're like very intrinsic part of it.
And so tell us a little bit more about the music that you're now singing and developing and creating with your band, and that will come to Chicago in the very near future.
Yes, I so in wanting to study the roots of jazz, there was always something inside of me coming out. My roots will filter through, and some of my teachers were not very happy with that. Some of them were actually very encouraging because they thought that it was something unique, and so yeah, that's where everything started. I started taking jazz standards and like put them through my own little blender, wrote Spanish lyrics for a lot of jazz standards that I have ended up captivating into recordings, and at some point, being so far away from my roots and my country and my flamenco roots, I felt the call of going back there and explore that other angle of something that is, almost in my genes. So I spent a month in Sevilla, not a year, a month in Sevilla in a flamenco school where they granted me a scholarship to do an intensive flamenco singing course. And after having sung so many jazz, and after having sung so much Brazilian music, which is like a big passion of mine, going back to Spain and getting the flamenco together and getting the vocal techniques and studying really diligently for an entire month, it was the last ingredient that my music needed and my sound needed. And sometimes we try to intellectualize, how we want to present a sound, but it's not a matter of intellectualizing it. It's a matter of like what happens inside of you and the experiences that you live. So when I went back and I did that flamenco course, boom, everything came together. And all the compositions from this album that we are releasing, they are that. You can feel it. It's like, it's not really flamenco, but it has a hint of that. It's not really Brazilian music, but it has a hint of that too. And it's not really jazz by any, classical standards, but it's there. All three elements are very present.
Well, it's very beautiful and very exciting and like you said, fresh. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing it live. Well, now who's coming with you? You'll be bringing your band with you?
Yes, this album was concocted also by this concept trio that we have been developing for the last year and a half with no bass. We are just percussion, piano, voice.
Wow.
And yeah, like at some point, out of necessity for certain gigs and not having like enough budget to hire an entire band, we tried this experiment of like doing my original compositions without bass. And it worked. It worked as a charm, especially because the two musicians that I bring with me, David Silliman on the percussion, who has an extensive experience in world music, and George Tulin, the pianist, who is half Spaniard, grew up in Kansas City with an American mother and a Spaniard father. They bring it so together that we have become a sound, and that's why we recorded the album as such, the three of us. We have a few special guests, but the whole thing is this trio concept. And of course, since we have become a sound, I need to bring them with me wherever I go. we are a band. It's like, the days of hiring different musicians in every part of the world that you go to, they're over. We're a band, and we go together.
Great, great. Well, Rebecca, I'm looking forward to hearing you, and I know that if people want to learn more about the music, they can go to, what is it, RebecaVallejo.com? Is that?
Yeah.
So it's RebecaVallejo for people that might not speak Spanish, Rebeca Vallejo, and we look forward to seeing you here in Chicago in the very, very near future.
I'm very looking forward to it. It will be my first time performing in Chicago, so
Chicago debut.
Yay! Looking forward to meeting everybody.